Hi everybody, it's Gemma. Welcome back to Pampered Wolf. I've just got back from Seth's nativity play. I've got Bee's nativity play on Monday. So looking forward to that. Feeling rather festive today, hence the Christmas jumper. Didn't want to let the kids down. Didn't want to go all bar humbug to school today. Had to do it for the team. Anyway, today we are going to be carrying on the series of the full face-off that I started a few weeks ago. Today is going to be a full face of Charlotte Tilbury. This has been the most expensive video I have done so far. All these products cost well over £300, which is a ridiculous amount of money to spend on a full face of makeup. It really is. I was going to say unless they're all good, but it still is a ridiculous amount of money to spend on a full face of makeup, regardless of whether they're all good or not. Anyway, I might not even like some of these products. I haven't tested them out. In fact, a lot of them are still in their packaging. So if you are interested in seeing which ones I like, which ones I'm not that keen on, then please keep watching. Okay, so as normal, I've already got my serums and my moisturizers on my face. I'm just going to put a little bit of an eyelid primer on, which by the way is not Charlotte Tilbury. This is the eyelid primer that I use all the time, and it's a P.LOUISE eyeshadow primer, which you're always asking me what I use, so this is it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with eyeshadow. I do have two palettes. These are both part of the luxury palette range. They are both £39 each in the UK, $53 in the US, so rather pricey, and you only get 4 shadows, but this is in the shade Starlight, £39, 4 shadows, okay. And this one is more of their bog standard luxury palette. This is in the shades Rebel, and it's a lot greener. So I bought this one for you, Henriette. Hopefully I won't make a mess of it. So these are for above a shadow or for a little bit of a twinkling on the eyelid if you don't want a lot of colour on your eyelid. They are beautiful, just not as much colour payoff. And these are for masses of colour payoff, or it should be, for £39 each. Let's get some of these on. So the one thing that annoys me, other than the price of Charlotte Tilbury palettes, is that usually there isn't a matte shade to darken the crease. And I don't really like darkening the crease up with anything other than a matte shade, but we're going to try it today and see what it looks like. So I'm going to go into the lightest green shade in the Rebel palette, take it on quite a fluffy brush, but a smallish fluffy brush, and just in case we get a little bit of fallout, I'm just going to add a little bit of a straight edge there just to catch any. So I'm just going to take this all the way to the inner corner and just blend that around. Okay, let's move on to a different shade. I'm just going to deepen up the outer edge with the bluey colour that's in the palette, bluey greeny colour. Just going to deepen up that darker edge. See, when you see Charlotte applying shadows, you always see her applying them usually with her fingers, because you do get a lot more colour payoff with those. And the actual Colourpop palette, I would definitely recommend doing that, because you won't see it at all if you're applying it with a brush. Let's blend that in a little bit. Okay, so that's quite nice. I'm actually going to put the green shade that we started with on the lid, and then I'm going to cover it up with one of the Colourpops just to make it really sparkle. So I'm just going to put this on with a fingertip, and you can see the colour payoff on a fingertip is a lot better than on a brush. Let's just see what it does on the, oh yeah, it is so much better applying these with a fingertip, but obviously you're not going to get the accuracy on the outside of the eye. So maybe a fingertip is the way to go. Can you hear my stomach? Honestly, I've not eaten anything today. Shh. So I'm going to go into the palette of pops for this next bit, go into the lightest green shade here, which is very goldy green. Let me show you that on the tip of my finger. Really, really pretty. And just going to press that on. Oh, that's so nice. That is really nice. Not quite sure whether you can see this properly on camera. I will give you a good view in a second. That just adds such a beautiful shimmer. Let me get up close. So I really like that look together. I'm going to finish the bottom lash line when I've got all the other products on as well. That's probably going to be the last thing that I do, but £39 each. Okay, so moving on to eyeliner. Charlotte Tilbury is famous for her Feline flick eyes. So we're just going to try and have a little play with this today. This is her liner and it is called Feline Flick. It's £22 in the UK, $30 in the US, and as far as I'm aware, they only do it in one colour, which is quite a dark brown, or is it black? I think that is black, but it might be an incredibly dark brown. I don't know. So let's just try this out. It is like a felt tip pen. Let's just try and see whether we can get a nice precise line from this. That is a really nice liner, I'm not gonna lie. The one that I usually use is about £6 from Lottie London, and it's got a lot sturdier end to it. So it did take a little bit of time to master the bendiness of this and the fact that you've got to add a little bit more pressure to the end of it, otherwise you're a little bit all over the place. But when you've got that right, this is a really nice liner. Really intense colour, really accurate. Nothing to dislike about it, to be quite honest. Let's move on. Okay, so next we're going to move on to lashes. The Legendary Lashes Volume 2 mascara from Charlotte Tilbury is finally back in stock, and I got my hands on it last week. You all know I'm going to rave on about this product. It is my favourite mascara of all time. So it's £25 in the UK, $32 in the US, which is really expensive for a mascara, but this is the mascara that I go back to time after time after time. So there we have it for the mascara. Just 2 coats of mascara on the top lashes. I haven't done anything on the bottom lashes yet. I will do that after foundation and concealer and all that jazz. Okay, so moving on to foundation. So this is the Light Wonder foundation. It's £32 in the UK, $46 in the US. It comes in 12 different shades, which I think is pretty poor. However, the spectrum of shades within those 12 shades is actually quite a wide variety, so that is quite decent. You get 30 ml worth of product in here. It gives you a light coverage. It gives an illuminated, smooth, hydrated, youthful finish, which is definitely what I'm after. It's very, very lightweight, and it has pseudoceramides in here which keep the skin hydrated for up to 18 hours. Now, I'm not sure how this is going to be on an oily skin. Maybe I would nudge you in the direction of her medium to full coverage foundation, which is more of a matte foundation if you do have oily skin. If any of you have tried this with oily skin and it works and it's absolutely beautiful, then do comment in the comment section below and let everybody know your experience about this product. I've gone for the shade 03. This is very, very liquidy. It's dripping on the back of my hand. I'm going to put it on with a brush. This is the 103 Define Buffing Brush from Zoeva, and I'm just going to go in with that. It's extremely light coverage, this. Can't really tell that I've got any on. Just gives you that beautiful glow. I wouldn't actually market this as a foundation. I don't think it's full enough coverage to even be seen as a foundation. This is more of a tinted moisturizer for me. It gives that sort of level of coverage. It's a nice shade match for me. It definitely got the right shade, but there are drugstore products that are very similar. The Bourjois Healthy Mix Serum Foundation is very, very similar to this and is only, I think, £11, so a lot cheaper. But I also like the CYO at the moment, and I think because drugstore products are really upping their game, it's more difficult to justify spending this amount of money on a foundation unless it's really all singing, all dancing, which I don't think this is. I don't know. Okay, so we're going to move on to concealer. Now, I've already done a review on these concealers. This is the Magic Away Liquid Concealer by Charlotte Tilbury, and I love this product, but it's not masses of coverage. She does say on her website that this is a full coverage concealer. She lied. This is not full coverage. This is beautiful, but it's more of a light to medium coverage. So if you do have a lot of under eye circles, if they're really dark and you struggle to cover them over, then this might not be the best product for you. What I usually do if I am really, really tired is add a high coverage concealer just on the darker areas and then put this over the top, because this is absolutely stunning. So it's quite illuminating. It does reflect the light. It just looks really, really natural. If you don't wear foundation at all, but you're still wanting to have a little bit of coverage underneath your eyes, this is a really, really lovely product. So let's just tell you how much this is. These are £24 in the UK, $32 in the US, which again is quite pricey. Comes in 15 different shades, and it illuminates and conceals. So I've got the shade 3 and 5. The 3 is slightly too pale for me, but very good at brightening the under eye if that's the only thing I want to do that day. The 5 is a much better colour. So I'm just going to tap that on. The one thing I don't like about this product is the applicator. Just doesn't seem very sanitary to me, having a sponge applicator, and I am one day gonna rip that off and just dispense it out onto the back of my hand, which I know a lot of you have done already. I'm not quite sure why I've not done that already, but I haven't, and I've lost my brush. So as you can see, this isn't masses of coverage, but it does reflect the light quite beautifully. A little goes a very long way with this product. You don't want to be putting too much on. This has got like a spandex type thing in there, so it stretches with your skin and doesn't crease throughout the day. However, if you put too much on, it will crease, as in most things really. I do like the product, and I think it is excellent for maturing skin. Just going to add a little bit of the lighter one just to brighten up the under eye a little bit. You'll see how much paler this is for me. Just gonna dab it there a little bit and blend that in. I would quite happily have this concealer all over my face as a foundation. I think it's a really beautiful product, and I'm quite disappointed she's not brought something like that out to the market, because I think it would do really, really well. So I absolutely love that concealer. I do think it reflects the light beautifully and looks very, very natural. And now the foundation has sunk into my skin a little bit more, I am liking that a lot more as well, because it's not as dewy looking, which looked a little bit sweaty on my skin. It's a really pleasant way of describing it, isn't it? But I just thought it was a little bit too much, but now it's dried down a little bit. I am liking it a lot more. Okay, so I cannot go out the house without doing my brows. Actually, that is a complete lie. I have no idea why I've just said that, because obviously I can go out of the house without doing my brows, but I'd prefer not to. So I'm going to do them with the Brow Lift. This comes in 5 different shades. This is in the shade Brooke S, which I guess is Brooke Shields. So this is £22.50 in the UK or $30 in the US. It's got a few different things on here. So it has a spoolie on one end. It also has a little brow pencil in the shape of a brow hair, which will be incredibly useful. And then I believe you pull this out and there is a highlighter underneath with a little sponge applicator. I think it's a highlighter. Yeah, it's a highlighter. I've never actually used one that looks like this before, but I'm eager to try it, so let's go. You all know that my favourite at the moment is the e.l.f. microbrow pencil. Actually, it's not called a microbrow pencil, but it's the Precise, Ultra Precise pencil, I think it is. But this is really lovely as well. It's not too soft, so you get a really accurate line on there, and the shade is perfect. Perfect. Now my brows are more or less done. I do think that the colour may be a little bit too dark. It looked really nice at the front of my brow where the hairs are much more sparse. But now I'm filling in the rest of my brow. It may be a little bit too dark for me, but maybe it just takes some getting used to. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. So I'm just going to brush through these again just to soften it up a little bit. Gotta say, the more I've used this and got used to it, the more I'm not quite sure about it. I think the angle of the actual pencil itself makes it a little bit more cumbersome to fill in the rest of your brows. Maybe it's just going to take some getting used to, but at the moment I still prefer the e.l.f. Precise Brow Pencil, which is about £7, I think, £6. And this is 22. Okay, so I'm just going to dot a little bit of the highlighter underneath there. It's like a pink, which not sure if that's the greatest shade to have as a highlighter. It's very nice, but not sure I'd use that again. Okay, so another product for the brows that she does are the Legendary brows. This is very similar to the Legendary lashes. It looks very similar but smaller. But this is for the brows, and it is the tiniest little wand that you get with this. Now this also comes in 5 different shades, although one of them is clear, and this is the shade Linda, and I think it's Linda Evangelista. If this makes me look like Linda Evangelista, I will be well happy. Really, really happy. So this is £18.50 in the UK, $22.50 in the US, and I believe you can use this without filling in your brows first. You can just use this as a product on its own, or you can use this after you've used the first product that I used. So let's just see what happens. I have never tried this before. It's a bit more like a coloured brow gel just to stick everything in place so that it doesn't move. I do quite like that. I think this would be great to use just on its own. You can't, oh. Well, what do you know? The end has just fallen off this, and this is £18.50 and it's just broke on me, and I haven't even got to the other side yet. See if we can fix it. So as you can see here, the little tip that takes off all the excess product off your brush had come out and stuck into the top of the lid, which is not good. I've just bought this and it's expensive. I'm just going to try and push that back down so it doesn't happen again. I like that. I think they look really natural. I will try this just on its own in a video for you, but really not impressed with the quality of the actual packaging. Let's move on. Okay, so let's finish off the bottom lash line. I'm going to go into that really nice green shade that we put on first and then put on all over the lid, and I'm just going to pop it on the end of a brush and just sweep that underneath. Do really, really like this palette, and I hate that I like it because it's so expensive. I'm going to go into the Rebel palette again and use this shade up here just to highlight the inner corner. Just make that pop a little bit more. Look at the colour payoff. Okay, alright, I'm getting excited over a £39 palette where you only get 4 shades. But I am. It is what it is. And then I'm going to go into the luxury palette of pots in Starlight, and this is out of stock at the moment, by the way. By the time this video goes out, it might be back in stock again. I'm just going to go for the lightest shade here and just pop that in the inner corner. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, it's so pretty. I know that I'm just thinking these cost £39 each. Have I mentioned that already? £39 each, or $53 for 4 shades. But I can't deny that they are beautiful shadows. I wanted to hate them, but I absolutely love them. Definitely be using those again. So I've just put 1 coat of the Legendary Lashes Volume 2 on the lower lashes. 1 coat is always, it's enough for me. And I'm going to move on to the Glowing Pretty Skin palette. Now this was a really good way of me saving a little bit of money, because her individual blushes, bronzers and highlighters are around about the £30 mark. So it would have cost me £90 to buy them individually, but I got them in a little set like this, and it cost £49 in the UK or $75 in the US, which is still really pricey, but a lot cheaper than it would have been to buy each one individually. And they are really, really pretty colours. So if you're into luxury makeup, this might be a way of saving some money and still getting the quality. So I'm just going to go in with my bronzing brush, which I use all the time. This is the Zoeva 106 powder brush, but I use it for my bronzer or contour. I'm going to go into this shade down here, which is the bronzing shade or the contour shade. This is where it gets a little bit tricky, because the brush is a little bit too big for the pan size, which it's a bit disappointing. It really is, but we're going to do the best we can. Oh, this is very pigmented, as you can see. Oh dear. We'll work on that. Let's just add some to the other side first, and then we'll try and blend that out. That's better. Now, I haven't set the foundation in place because I try not to anymore. It dries the skin out. A lot of the products that actually mattify the skin all have talc in, so I try and use them quite sparingly. And I also know that quite a few of you really struggle to set things in place because it just makes the skin look a little bit crepey. So I am trying my best not to do that. So by all means, go for it if you want to set everything in place, but I haven't done that today. I was going to buy the Charlotte Tilbury setting powder, but then I opened it and smelt it, and honestly it smelled like vomit. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, whether it had gone off. Has anybody else had that issue? It really didn't smell pleasant at all, and I thought, I cannot put that on my face. Anyway, all these products smell really nice. And even though I haven't set the foundation in place, so my skin is a little bit stickier than it would normally be, these are blending really nicely. Okay, so let's add a little bit of blush to this. I'm going to go into the lightest corally shade, which is so pretty, really pretty. I'm just gonna, wow, the colour payoff for this is pretty decent. You definitely don't need too much, which is great because it means the products are going to last longer. And as you've spent so much money on them, I really need to stop talking about this, don't I? Because it's obvious, it's Charlotte Tilbury, it's going to cost a lot of money. It just still hurts, it really does. Okay. Loving the colour payoff of the blushes. In fact, it's so much colour payoff, I'm going to have to blend it with my fingers so that I don't look like I've stepped back into the 80s. I'm just going to actually put a little bit of powder over the top of that just to dull it down a little bit. What you actually get in this palette, really, really pretty. For £49 or $75, you get a little powder, which is more of a yellowy powder, which will brighten under the eyes. You get a bronzer or a contour shade. You get 2 blushes and also 2 highlighters as well. So it's actually quite a decent amount of product that you get. There is a little bit of kickback. They are a bit powdery in the pan, but when they hit the face, I'm not sure whether it's because I've not set everything in place. It's more of a cream. It really does melt into the skin. Beautiful. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the powder and just dust that over the top just to diffuse that colour a little bit. You can do this with anything. If you find that you've put a little bit too much eyeshadow on, or blush or bronzer, just dab a little bit of coloured powder over the top and it will just diffuse it a little bit and make it look a little bit more subtle. Then I'm going to go into, I think, the more golden highlighter and just dust my fan brush in there. I always like to use a fan brush rather than using something that's a much more accurate, because I like a bit more of a natural highlight. If you want that pow highlight, then go in with something a little bit more accurate. But I just like to dust that over the cheek. It's a really pretty highlight. It's definitely a subtle highlight anyway. This is not one of those highlights that you're going to be able to see from the moon. So the final couple of products that I'm going to use today are for the lips. This is part of her Matte Revolution lipstick range. It's £24 in the UK, $34 in the US. And I'm also going to be using one of her Lip Cheat lip pencils, which is £16 in the UK or $22 in the US. Now there are 17 different shades to choose from, huge spectrum of shades, and they're all absolutely stunning in the Matte Revolution range. And there are also 15 shades of the Lip Cheat lip pencil. I've used both of these in a previous video. I think it was the How to Make Your Lips Look Bigger video. If you haven't seen that already, I will link that up here for you so you can watch that a little bit later on. The Lip Cheat pencil I used is in the shade Iconic Nude, which basically suits everybody. And in the Matte Revolution lipstick range, I'm going to be using the shade Pillow Talk. This is her universal shade. She says this suits absolutely everybody, but a lot of people on my channel have said that it might be a little bit too orangey on them. It looks very pink in the tube, but some people said it's got that little bit of an orangey hue to it and it's just far too warm for them. So I really like it. I guess we can't all like the same. And that's the finished look. Maybe I should have kept the hair up. Okay, so this is the finished look after a little bit of straightening. You know, it happens to us all. I've really liked the finished look. It's a lot of money to spend on a full face of makeup. I would definitely recommend the Glowing Pretty Skin palette. I think this is quite good value for money if you're into luxury makeup. The eyeshadow palettes, £39 each, £10 a shadow. Super expensive, but I really like them. Would I buy them again? Probably not. I mean, I've got them now, so I will definitely use them again. They are great quality. They're beautiful shades. I especially like the Starlight palette in the Luxury Palette of Pops. I think that's absolutely beautiful. It could be really understated or really in your face. Really like the shades in there. I think they work beautifully together, but almost £80 for both of these together. I think it's really steep. And I do think there are other products on the market that give similar payoff a lot cheaper. So probably wouldn't buy these again, but I will definitely be using them now because I already have them in my collection, but I'll give the others a miss. The Light Wonder foundation I think is more of a tinted moisturiser, not very much coverage, really beautiful though, but I think there are products on the market in the drugstore that are rivaling this now for much cheaper. So although I really like it, I probably won't be buying it again once that has disappeared. I can pretty much take or leave the Matte Revolution lipsticks. I do like the Lip Cheat pencils though, and I would definitely buy those again. As far as the brow product goes, this is the Brow Lift. I mean, it's a nice product. I really liked it when I first started to use it, but as time went on, it just became a little bit more cumbersome to use. And again, I think there are things out there on the market for much cheaper that are easier to use. It's just my opinion. The Magic Away concealer, you already know I really, really like, but if you have really dark circles, then you are going to have to use something underneath this, because although she says it's full coverage, it's not. But again, I would rebuy this. I think it's a really beautiful product, especially when you don't have any foundation on. You can get away with wearing this. It's just really nice, really luminous, really natural. You all know I'm on a rave about the Legendary Lashes Volume 2. You know this is my favourite product. I absolutely love this mascara and I will buy it over and over and over again, regardless of how much it costs. It's definitely worth it for me. The Feline Flick eyeliner is perfectly nice, but there are things on the market that are cheaper that do the job just as well, so I probably think when this is gone I won't be repurchasing that one. And the last product, the Legendary Brows. It's a really nice product and I'm going to carry on playing with this product to see whether I get on with it, but as you saw in the video, the actual packaging of this broke, and if it was broken still, if I hadn't managed to fix it, this would just be absolutely useless. So the quality of the actual packaging itself, very, very poor. I'm hoping it doesn't happen again. Anyway, in fact it has done, look. I've just pulled it out now. It's happened again. Really not good. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. I really hope you found this video helpful because I had to take a bank loan out. I'm only joking. I didn't have to take a bank loan out to do it, and I will keep all these products and I will use them all the time and really get my money's worth out of them, but through gritted teeth. So I really hope you found this video helpful. If you have, please give it a big £300 thumbs up. That would really make my day. Don't forget, I'm also on Instagram. It's Pampered Wolf, all lowercase, no spaces, if you want to follow me on there as well. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. There is a watermark in this corner. If you click on it, it will take you through to my homepage where you can subscribe. Hope to see you all again soon. Bye.